on you. All of the things you said to me.
Hey guys, welcome. What is up? Welcome to this vlog. We're here in Moab, Utah, and we're gonna take you guys along today as we retrace dirty, stinky, scumbaggy Brian Laundrie's steps. So where are we going first?
First, we're gonna check out the Moonflower Co-op where Brian and Gabby were working all day before they got in an altercation and were pulled over on their way into Arches.
Yeah, and we're actually like kind of right down the street from that right now. So we're gonna go check that out, and then we're gonna look for our own personal, just kind of to like answer some questions that we had. If it could be connected to a double homicide that happened here in Moab around August 14th. So we're gonna actually go to the site of that and take you guys along and show you the distance, and we don't really know what to expect. So we're just gonna see what kind of happens when we do that. You ready to do it?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Woo! Wait up! So we're walking up right now, just right up here. Looks like a really awesome little store. And this is where, coincidentally, one of the two people that were murdered in the Lasalle Mountains on August 14th actually worked. A lot of people know about that, and a lot of people have been making connections, or trying to make connections, I guess, about
Let
if
us
they
know
could be.
your thoughts.
We're gonna see. I mean, I think today will answer those questions, as if there is any way it could be connected. We're also gonna show you guys where Brian Laundrie was put up by the police after the traffic stop that everyone saw that happened right outside Arches.
But I've kind of gone back and forth on whether or not I believe the cases are linked. And I at first was like, they have to be, and then I was like, there's no way. And now I'm kind of back on maybe they are. I don't know.
All right, so Allie's actually inside the Moonflower right now, getting us hummus, to be honest. One thing I wanted to note, or a couple things, is this is like right off the main road. The main road is right over there. This is a super busy area. So it's kind of crazy that like Brian Laundrie was basically hitting and, you know, making contact with Gabby out here because it's so busy. I mean, I've kind of walked off to the side to do this shot, but if I walk like right down in front of the Moonflower towards the main road or across the street, there's people everywhere. It's a really popular time. August is a really popular time, so it's just a really busy situation around here. Initially, I thought it was a place that didn't have a ton of activity around it. I've definitely changed my opinion now. I'm not surprised at all that someone saw the situation between Gabby and Brian and called the police. And I'm guessing what they did is take a right on Main Street, Moab, and head towards Arches, which is exactly what we're gonna do after this. And it's no surprise where this all went down at.
I just overheard the homeless man.
Duck and dodge. We need a live react from you. Show us what you got.
But I got hummus and a vegan cinnamon roll.
Oh my God, best day ever.
Okay, so did you catch the memorial right outside it?
No, I didn't. Did you see one?
Yes, there are flowers all over the tree. Looks like a really beautiful memorial. One thing that I'm very curious about, though, is some co-ops have like a little sitting area. There didn't seem to be any sort of sitting area or anything inside. They have a deli and things like that, and maybe they have good Wi-Fi, but it didn't look like they had like their own cafe.
So you don't think they were working in there for quite a while? It's not the type of place where you'd stay for a long period of time?
Well, yeah, but she says that when she's being pulled over. She says that.
Right over here is an espresso sign, and this is a cafe right here. So they could have easily been working right over there at that coffee shop, and then just walked to the Moonflower, did their thing, and then came out. I was telling the vlog, like and subscribe, how busy it is out here.
It's very busy. There are a ton of vans, and it's a very chilled street to be parked on all day long. Oh man, I just saw a bald guy. Every time I see a bald guy. So
it'd be hard. It would be hard to get away with.
I'm not sure where they were sitting working at the co-op all day, unless they were parked right outside and were using their Wi-Fi. Which have you checked to see if they have Wi-Fi?
I haven't checked, but you think it's no surprise that someone saw Brian hitting Gabby out here because of how busy it is.
Right. There's tons of people, lots of pedestrians and cars. I mean, they have a deli and stuff, so it's very possible there were a couple of tables and chairs in there, maybe, at some stage. But my phone's not picking up any Wi-Fi signal near the Moonflower, none at all. So I don't know.
I doubt they were working there. I bet you they were just working at like the espresso thing across the street, or maybe using their phone in the parking lot or something.
And then they grabbed groceries or something before they went up to Arches. All right, so let's go to Arches and kind of see where they got pulled over and see how he hit the curb or whatever, if we can. We've just turned off into the Arches National Park. There's about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile or so until we get to the gate. He pulls them over just before the gate, so we're gonna walk back there and kind of film the area.
Okay, so another thing I've learned is that Arches is quite a ways from the Moonflower. So there was a long distance there.
Not super long.
Well, like 10 minutes, would you say?
If that.
Well, Einstein would say time is relative, right? So I guess it depends on your perspective. Onward. So we're seeing some tire marks on the curb, potentially where dirty, stinky, scumbaggy, filthy Brian Laundrie may have actually swerved into, right? And created some contact.
There's also a 25-mile-an-hour sign, and remember in the body cam footage he was going 45 down
Psycho Brian, crazy Brian, once again. A lot of people have asked me, like, how did I come up with such an accurate impersonation of Brian Laundrie and his mannerisms? Some people gave me some good tips that I've added in, but it's feet out wide, arms out wide, imitating taking up a lot of space, but we all know he doesn't take up much space. I'm always doing something sketchy, always dirty feet, always dirty feet.
You should take your shoes off.
You want me to? I don't want to get back into character. Again, I've been there and I don't want to go back there. Okay, investigative report. Allie's got the camera. She just spotted this tire scuff. Could be where Brian Laundrie, dirty, scummy, stinky Brian Laundrie rammed the transit van into prior to being pulled over, which is just down here. So we're almost there. Something to note though.
I mean, somebody going 45 could have made this mark.
And then look, it peels back out.
Honestly, that could very well be the marks from their van. I mean, he hit it going 45.
That was a high speed. I just drove into a curb mark and then I swerved back into the road because it went in and then it went back out.
Yeah.
I think you just found it. Nice job. It had to have been right there too, because right up here we're about 200 feet from where the traffic stop happened. So exactly. They saw the lights, they drove into the curb. 200 feet later, they pull over. Next thing you know, stinky Brian Laundrie's out walking around with no shoes on him once again.
This is where the first cop was pulled up speaking to Gabby as she was hysterically crying from the argument that her and Brian had just been in or gotten in, had been in for days, months. Their van their white van was parked up right here during the stop. There was a bunch of orange cones here at that time. And the one cop took Gabby over to the vehicle back there, and then I believe the other vehicle was in front of his, or maybe somebody else came later on. And that's who was speaking to Brian up by their white van.
Okay, so Dirty Brian Laundrie's van was parked right here. There were two police officer cars back there. Gabby was in one of them. This is the infamous scene where kind of Brian does one of these, shows off his like gross little body, and then he sits right on this curb right here. And you know how Brian sits, it's kind of like the most Magoo thing you've ever seen. And then he starts whining about how there's too much sun on his bald little head. So an officer stands right behind him, gives him some shade, nice guy move. So that's kind of the situation out here. Right at the entrance to Arches, it all went down right here. Now, what happened next was they took Brian to Bowen, the Bowen Hotel, right in downtown Moab, and so we can go check that out.
They obviously had their night away, and then whenever they got back together, they must have come to Arches because Gabby posted photos and changed her profile photo on Instagram to her standing in front of Delicate Arch. Okay, so most of you know that after they were pulled over up at the entrance to Arches National Park, the police decided to separate the two. Gabby stayed in her van that night, and they took Brian to the Bowen Motel to separate them for the evening. So we are now here at the Bowen Motel. Let's go have a look.
Great location, really, right on Main Street.
It is
a little pool right here.
Maybe 2 blocks from the Moonflower Co-op, 2.5-ish.
I bet you Brian didn't shower here. Yeah, so what's really interesting, like Allie was just saying, is this hotel is 2 blocks from the Moonflower Cafe.
If that.
If that. So that's a really interesting point.
Yeah, it's right up on that corner. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Do you reckon he washed his feet?
Oh my God. This is the wash area. Okay, so we know for sure Brian was not in this area because this is the wash area and they're indicating to wash your feet, you dirty, stinky, barefoot Brian Laundrie. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big hotel, a lot of rooms. It's a motel. It's not a hotel, it's a motel.
I read somewhere that it was $78, but then on Google it's saying it's $150, so maybe it gained popularity.
Hey, any PR is good PR in some circles. Not our circle, but some circles. So the Moonflower is right down that. There's basically one street over. I'll show you guys on a map right here. As you can see on this graphic, it's literally over one street, up one street, and so that's significant. It's about 8-minute drive to Arches from here. We don't know where Gabby went that night, right? So the next thing we need to do is show you guys.
There are a ton of campsites and free campsites and paid campsites and stuff like that. Very, very close to here with lots of people where she would be safe and feel comfortable.
Yeah, probably much safer than with stinky barefoot Brian Laundrie. So the next thing we need to do is go drive up into the Lasalle mountain ranges, and we're gonna go see how far this distance is from here to there, just to see if there could be a connection, if Brian could have gotten up there.
So they were pulled over on the 12th. He spent the night here on the 12th, And Kylen and Crystal's last message was sent on the night of the 13th. So it was actually Gabby and Brian were back together at this stage, and he had a vehicle.
Yeah.
Then on that day, I'm assuming.
So let's go check out that distance and see what it's like.
Okay, we are currently driving up Lasalle Mountain Loop Road towards Uwa Lake. So the reason we are doing this is because it is actually quite a distance from downtown or in town Moab, where Brian was staying at his Safe Haven Hotel. And so it's really far from town. And I think one of the reasons the gals camped up here is because it's really hot down in Moab in summertime, and this road is actually quite high in elevation as it continues to meander up the mountain, making for some cooler temps.
This would have been a really difficult trek to hitchhike. I mean, almost impossible to hitchhike. What do you think?
So it actually happened the evening after. The girls sent a message to their friend saying there's a creepy man at our campsite, and if we go missing, we've been murdered. Something like this. And this actually happened the evening after Brian spent the night alone.
Oh, really?
In the Safe Haven hotel-y thing. And so those are the facts.
Yeah.
They're very, very close to each other. He could have been really upset after the incident with the police with Gabby, or they could have nothing to do with each other at all.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And yeah. Okay, gang, so we just learned of some new information. We're gonna head north towards South Mesa, and I think there we're gonna be able to show you guys kind of the vicinity and how far it is from where Brian Laundrie was. We're a few minutes away, and we'll see what comes up when we get there. So let's do it. Okay, guys, this is the road. We're taking a right turn. We've already seen a camper out there. We're just gonna go a little ways down and see what we can find. Okay, we're in South Mesa. We just parked the van. We see a very obvious creek. This seems to align with.
Oh, it seems to align. And it feels eerie and sad.
It's definitely gotten really muddy out here. Wintry conditions. Large area. Fire pit right here, so that's one camp spot. The interesting thing about this spot is that we're really close to a kind of a small little hotel resort type of place in South Mesa.
It's also very wide. It's a very wide open area.
Yeah, it's very wide and open. There's not like trees everywhere. I feel like, obviously we know there was gunshots involved. Those would be heard, but it's kind of a remote area. So maybe people just thought people are shooting off guns, I don't know. We haven't come across any indicators yet, so let's keep walking along this creek here. We're walking up on the area that they were found, but doesn't seem to be any type of memorials. So this area that we're in right now, it's a wide open field, as you can kind of tell behind me. Plenty of room, multiple little campfire setups. Really nasty road right now. That's probably just because of winter. But yeah, I mean, it's just out in the open. And it's not what I expected to find. So this creek right behind me is about 15 yards off the camp area where people would theoretically camp around here. There is a kind of a row of trees right here that you can see that shield visibility. So if something were to be down here, which there was, it would be somewhat difficult to see at just people driving by. Okay, gang, situation's become critical. We are stuck in the mud. Helen is having some issues. Luckily, a gentleman pulled over. We found our eye bolt that we can screw into the front of the van. So hopefully we can make it up this muddy track here. But it gets real nasty out here when it gets wet. And we just had kind of an unfortunate incident here trying to get out of here, and then eventually I screwed it all up. So it just is what it is. Let her down, let Allie down, but hopefully can make it up to her. If you guys were to be able to like and subscribe, that would probably help, to be honest. So let's see if we can get out of here.
So we're just walking over to Woody's. This is the last location that Kylen and Crystal was seen at on the night of Friday the 13th. It's right down the main road in Moab, which is actually kind of busy for a tiny little town.
Okay guys, so Woody's is right in the background there. The reason why we wanted to stop here, like Ali was saying, was the last known location. We just got off the mountain where we saw the location that they were found after the crime was committed. So this being the last place they were seen on the 14th?
The 13th. They were seen on the night of the 13th.
Okay, so they were seen here on the night of the 13th. Since they were, you know, quote unquote homeless, and I guess quote unquote were homeless too, they were living in their vehicle and they would travel up to the Lasalle mountains because it was so hot in town. And that could have been the last time they were even in Moab.
Sounds like it, yeah. And the girls, the security camera footage, they're smiling, having a really lovely time with their friends.
And they were having such a great time, and then they went to just like what we do and what a lot of people do, they just went to go camping. So this kind of, for me, like brings it all around and just, I don't know, makes me feel just I need to be.
It could have happened to anyone, so.
Yeah, that's exactly how it makes me feel. Like it could have happened to anyone, and it just is so tragic.
Okay, guys, we are back after a big day of investigating and
investigative reporting.
Getting stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
After I just told you how I didn't really mind not having 4-wheel drive. Big thanks to Kevin and Mark for towing us out.
We didn't even have to solicit them. They just pulled up and asked us. So great people here in Utah. Yeah, it was a full day, like Ali said. I guess my takeaway is, you know, I've definitely thought that Brian is the type of, I definitely thought he was connected to these, you know, for a while. And then it kind of, I figured the cops knew more than I did, for sure, obviously. And now going through the whole scenario and how far up and how remote that area was where the
double homicide happened.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to work out for me. I don't know about you, but for me, I just don't. And I'm surprised I'm even saying this, because I was like, he had to have like had something to do with it. You know, he had to have done it. And there's a lot of different theories about the connection that there could be between those two, between Brian and that other crime. So I don't know. What did you think after that?
I don't know. It still seems completely possible to me for him to have.
It's possible.
Been in such an outrage that he did it the next day.
Yeah.
In front of.
It seems
his
like he's
girlfriend, and then he had. I mean, what do you guys think? What is your take on it? Let us know.
Yeah, leave a comment. We'd love to hear your take on that.
It's so mind-boggling.
You know, for me, it's like the distance to get up there is so great that I don't know how he would have gotten up there without Gabby taking him up there.
Yeah,
in the van.
Just like left her.
Or maybe he left her and we never found that. I mean, you know, she's not here to speak for herself anymore. And so there's some gray area, but we don't know when he left Moab. We don't know what they did after they reunited after his Bowen Hotel stay. So it's possible. It is possible, but I just don't see how he does it by himself. I don't know. It just seems so crazy.
And then to add to that, she just seems like way too sweet and innocent and good-hearted of a girl to me that if she knew about it, she couldn't wait a whole week without saying something to someone. I mean, she was allegedly in Salt Lake City by herself for like a week while he flew to Florida. That was recently confirmed. She would have gone. She would have done the right thing, I think.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, she's not here to speak for herself. And it's a mystery, no doubt. I just hope that they find justice for the two girls that were also murdered up on Lasalle Mountains. It's such a beautiful area. But yeah, we would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section. We do have our Patreon page up and it's growing. We have behind the scenes content. We're going to start doing live Q&As there. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon and supporting our channel, that's one really good way to do it. And then another way to do it.
I have a van life course that teaches people how to budget, build, and sort of bring their life on the road. For those who are hoping to add a little more adventure into their lives.
You can find all the descriptions in the link below this video. Please give this video, please just absolutely smash that like button and
we
subscribe.
really appreciate your engagement. It means a lot to us, especially at this time.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.